No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out lithiafordboise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome to Clune Arena inside Cadet Fieldhouse here at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs as the Boise State Broncos look to finish the regular season road portion of their schedule with a 6-4 mark, win their 5th game overall, their 9th in the last 10, and set up a monster game on Friday night, on senior night, against Colorado State, and they'll have to beat the Air Force Falcons to get that done here tonight. We welcome you on into the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Abe Jackson, Learfield Bronco Radio Network. You'll hear him coming up in about 23 minutes over on I guess tonight's 93.1 FM, I believe I heard Bob say. 93.1 FM with the women's game over on the AM side. But Abe, Clune Arena, shocker, it's cold and windy and snowing outside, but a big one tonight for Boise State.
It is. I mean, every single game from about 3 games ago seems like it was a make or break for the NCAA tournament, whether you beat a team at the top of the league like in New Mexico, or you have to beat a team at the bottom of the league in Fresno State or Air Force tonight. It just feels like the last 4 or 5 games that the Broncos have played, the NCAA berth has been on the line each time.
Yeah, you see the Broncos warming up on the court in front of us, going with the blue uniforms tonight. And Abe, that game against Fresno, sneaky, scary game there for 39 minutes. But in the end, it's a road win, and they'll look to do the same tonight.
Yeah, and at this point of the season, I mean, you're looking for decent wins, but just get into that win column. Keep the win streak going. Take some momentum into the conference tournament. And after this game, take some momentum to your last home game and senior night against Colorado State, who's also playing really well.
We didn't get a chance to talk to you after the Fresno State game. What were your impressions of that game? I didn't think they played terrible. I thought they ran pretty good offense. They just missed some bunnies at the rim and missed some threes. And
couldn't hit a thing. And the thing is that, you can only do so much, like if you're a coach, right? Let's run this offense against this defense and then go out and execute it. The guys executed their offense 90% for about 12 plays in the first half, which got him to 1 to 2 feet at the front, to the rim. I mean, Omar missed a dunk, got it back, and then was a foot away and then missed that. I mean, that's just how the night went for the Broncos, but they found a way to get it done. They got a win, and I'm feeling pretty good about this game here tonight. I think they're going to not have the type of performance that they did against Fresno.
Very similar, though, kind of a road game against one of the worst teams in the conference where there probably won't be a big crowd.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely similar. I mean, back-to-back games against the bottom two teams, and there'll probably be a combined maybe 4,000 people. Actually, there was a decent crowd at Fresno State. They
kids,
had
right? Yeah.
tons of kids. There was at one point, Fresno State hit a shot, and I heard the crowd, and I had to take my headset off because it was so high-pitched. Like the screaming was audibly high-pitched that I took it off. And there was about 5 sets of kids who all came down. Each set, probably about 150 of them. So they had a pretty good crowd at Fresno.
Well, tonight, this Air Force team, Boise State has won 9 in a row overall against Air Force, but they're obviously a unique team to play, and they play better at home and kind of lull you to sleep with that offense for 28 seconds of the shot clock and try to backdoor you. And Boise State, was in a tight battle with them in the first half there, and Boise ended up winning by a comfortable margin.
Yeah, they did. And you just asked San Diego State how tough Air Force is in this building. It took them the last, I think, 3.8 seconds or 4 seconds to get a last-second layup to beat the Falcons here on this court. So it's a team that the record's not great. The rankings aren't great, but they're on their home court. It's senior night. Forget them. They're going to be starting 5 seniors. You never know, but I like how the Broncos are going to come out tonight.
I'm trying to get our other camera working here. I don't know what happened, so I'm working on the fly here so folks can see the warm-ups. But I wanted to ask you about R.J. Keene because there was a stat that came out from Evan Maya earlier today on social media. He's kind of an analytics guy, kind of like Ken Palm. Amongst players in the history of college basketball that have averaged 1.5 points or less, you factor in defense, rebounding, everything else, assists, and the scoring in terms of the percentages. 1.5 points per game or less in a season. The greatest player in the history of college basketball is R.J. Keene.
Hey, I'll do it. He's probably averaging the most minutes of anybody, too, who averages 1.5. But, that's what's great about this team, and I think that's what the big step was after that Colorado State loss is that roles became defined. Now Keene's role has really kind of been defined all season long of what they need, but it just kind of speaks to, I think, the entire program and where it went after that Colorado State loss. His role is defined. Everyone really knows what they're supposed to be doing. There's less guys that are playing, so you can really get into a rhythm as well.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, man. Boise State, by the way, Abe Jackson, is 17-1 when he plays at least 14 minutes.
Get him 14 minutes. I mean, that seems pretty easy. I could coach, right?
But I think he's finally found his role. I think fans, everybody's kind of comfortable with the fact that, no, he may hit you a corner 3 occasionally, but that's not why he's out there. But I think he's proven to this point, whether the stats say it or not, that he's an impactful player and helps his team when he's on the floor.
Well, and I think somebody else that's impactful that there was a lot of questions about at the beginning was Ugbo. And, why is he in the starting lineup? Why is he just doing this weird 2 minutes and then out and then back in? And, yeah, that looked, kind of odd. But the last couple games and really the last 3 or 4 games, Ugbo has had some big shots and played some big minutes against Fresno State. He made some free throws, and then he hit a left-handed shot in the key that proved to be just a massive bucket in that game.
I thought Ugbo was huge in the end. Yeah, season on the line, whatever. Minutes ago, let's dump it down low to Ugbo for a one-handed hook shot.
Let's use the left.
And, left-handed, it went in, but he had the block, like you said, another dunk on the run-out. And I thought Omar in his limited minutes was good. Again, that's 2 games in a row where if you combine what you got from Ugbo and Stanley, you take it all day.
All day. And it doesn't matter, if one of them starts and then comes out and then comes in. I mean, it's a little bit fluid with those guys. But that's, just, again, everyone is starting to find their stride. And those 2 guys especially, you can really see it.
We're 58 points, the annual Tyson Degenhart record watch, 58 points away. I mean, any hope you can go for 30 tonight to set up a chance on senior night to get it? Or what are you looking for from Tyson tonight?
I think ideally, if you're wanting to get that record, which, I'm sure he does, that would be nice to have. But I think ideally for this game, what would be nice is to be up by 30 and limit his minutes to maybe like 28 or 29 minutes. I think that would really be what the coaches are wanting because you got the big game against the Colorado State on Friday. Then, of course, the Mountain West tournament. And I'm sure you put it out somewhere, but Boise State, that last 4 in right now.
Last 4 in. I was going to ask you about that. Joe Lenardi has them as the last team in the field. Jerry Palm has them in as well. And I know there's actually better ranked bracketologists out there, but they're the 2 most prominent with CBS and ESPN. And for both of them to now have Boise State in the field, certainly a good sign. There's a lot of big bubble games, Mountain West games tonight, but for Boise State right now, you just got to keep winning. But tonight, though, with the metrics and all that in the net ranking, if there was ever a night where you could run it up a little bit, I mean, I know you just want to win. We said the same thing for Fresno. Got to run it up tonight. They didn't do that, but they won. But if there was a chance to run it up and help those numbers, tonight would be a nice night to do it.
It would be, and it would be nice to get a solid, 20-plus point win and not have to ride your guys as hard as maybe you rode them at Fresno State, where you didn't expect to really have to do that. This would be a good time to do that, especially with a quick turnaround in the game Friday.
Bronco 130 wants to know, in a hypothetical pickup game, how would I guard Abe Jackson? It's relevant because I think it's similar to tonight. I'm Air Force and Abe is the Broncos. I mean, I'd get that stick hand up, and I would just.
I feel like you would use your body quite a bit.
I think you'd try to. I would just keep you outside the 3-point line. I know you're not passing. I mean, I guess if it's 1-on-1, you're not passing anyway, so that's your game. But I would just hope you had an off shooting night. I think that's the only chance I have.
I just hope we got through that with no injuries. That would be a shock because that would be one of the most embarrassing one-on-ones of basketball. I haven't played in decades since I've played.
You're a pickleball star now.
I play more pickleball than basketball. I play more pickleball in 1 week than I have basketball in about the last 15 years.
The fans, let's get back to final couple things here, the one thing people really care about. Fans starting to stream in a little bit here. It is senior night for Air Force, so maybe they get a small uptick in the crowd. I don't really know, but what do you just make of this Air Force program? And they're 4-24. They're 1-17 in the league, and they had their best player in each of the last 2 years transfer out. If both those guys were here, I mean, they may be an upper half type league, but no juniors on the roster. So next year they're going to have no seniors. They can't go to the transfer portal. They can't get NIL. I mean, Joe Scott. Somebody's like, "Oh, they're going to move on from Joe Scott." It's like, what are you going to do? Who? Yeah. I mean, they're in a really tough spot right now.
They were already a little bit just at a disadvantage because it's Air Force, right? There's just the different sets of stipulations and guidelines that you have to follow when you're at an academy, and so they were already in a little tougher situation than some other schools. And then you throw NIL in this transfer portal in, and they're just way behind. I mean, they got guys that are transferring out. They can't go get a junior transfer who wants to come in and play. You have to build it from a freshman, sophomore, and work your way up. And it's just so tough to do that when there's some universities that are throwing money at the kids and making phone calls right after games and just pretty.
That would never happen. Pretty that would never happen.
Yeah, it's not supposed to. but it's a tough situation. And like you said, I mean, Joe Scott's a great coach. He is. He's shown that he's a great coach, but it's just such a tough situation to try and put together a basketball program that's going to be competitive in the Mountain West when you can't get transfers and you can't do NIL.
So how do you when we saw San Diego State come in here and nearly lose in overtime, it took miracle is probably too strong of a word, but 4 seconds, a missed defensive assignment, and the guy going coast to coast to lay it in at the buzzer for them to not lose here. I mean, that's one of the best teams in the league. That's beat Boise State twice. How does Boise State that kind of sleepy atmosphere and just the tough defense, and a lot of these guys haven't played Air Force a ton. I mean, Pearson, we haven't talked about him. He didn't play the first time they played Air Force. He was still redshirting back in December, so now he's a starter, key player. So how do they not let Air Force kind of hang around tonight?
Well, it starts on the defensive end and how you defend their back cuts, and the Broncos did a great job. And we talk about Air Force's defense or offense quite a bit and how strange it is. But over the last 5 or 6 years, the Broncos have done really well against it. They've been locked in. They got guys who are good athletes, but they're also really smart when they play. So they know how to defend this type of team. But I think a good start would be big because with a team like Air Force, I mean, they're not going to give up, of course, but it's been a really tough year. And if you get out to a solid lead, 20-6, something like that, then that could just be a good start to really take it to a solid win.
Yeah, beat them here by 31 last year. You'd gladly take that again.
I'd take that for sure.
Final thing, Abe, means what are your official keys here? How does Boise State pick up another road win here and set up what would be a monster showdown on Friday?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Air Force run some zone just because zone has been a little tricky for the Broncos, but knock down the threes. Actually, let me just say knock down your open shots no matter where they are. Run your offense well, and then get back on defense, and then defensive rebound. A team like Air Force, they run the clock 28 out of 30 seconds. If you give up an offensive rebound and have to be in that defensive stance again for another 20 seconds, you're probably going to give up something bad.
Did you ever play Air Force?
I don't think so.
I mean, that's got to be incredibly frustrating with the way they just kind of meticulous. I heard Leon at the shoot-around today say their shot clock doesn't start when it's 8 seconds. It starts when it's 3.
Exactly. They're really just running their offense. Now, they'll look for a back cut if it's there. But you just have to know where your man is. I mean, the coaches say one eye on your man, one eye on the ball, right? Know where the ball is, know where your man is. And if you turn your head and miss your man, you're going to turn around and he's going to be at the hoop at the back cut.
Well, we'll be listening in about 12 minutes. You and Bob over on, I believe, 93.1 FM. 95. I always get them screwed up. It's the FM stand. That's right?
I'm not sure.
Okay. 95.3 FM, I think, right?
That's what
it's the FM station. I apologize to Learfield and everybody listening. I know the AM 670 is the women's game tonight, and you can find out where it is, but it's the FM station tonight. Boise State, Air Force. Hey, appreciate you as always, man, and it should be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it, and good luck on the call, man.
All right, thanks.
Hey, for our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, appreciate them. Plenty more to come here live from Clune Arena. Get your score predictions in, your thoughts, your comments, how you're feeling about this one for Boise State. But you're watching a free exclusive live look at warm-ups here thanks to a lot of our great sponsors that make this show possible, including rowpaint.com, our title sponsor, roepaint.com. Hit up Andy Rowe and Company. All your painting needs, whether it's concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, they got you covered. rowpaint.com. TacoBellWorks.com as well. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate Taco Bell for their support of Bronco Nation News. Taco Bell, they're hiring. Check out a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. And they've donated more than $400,000 or committed more than $400,000 to student-athlete scholarships at Boise State. You can get more information again online, TacoBellWorks.com. We mentioned Tyson Degenhardt, his pursuit of the record. He's 58 points away, and he's still here in a Boise State uniform for this record, in part because of Idaho Central Credit Union. They stepped up. He was their first NIL athlete. Idaho Central Credit Union, return the favor, folks. You may like your banking experience. I can promise you, if you make the switch over to Idaho Central Credit Union, you will like it even more. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner. Check them out online at Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. And don't forget, we'll have the Jackson's postgame show right after the game. And if the Broncos can get 70 points tonight, which sometimes is a little bit of a challenge against Air Force, but if you can get 70 points against Air Force, the Broncos will get a hot dog and a fountain drink. You'll get a hot dog and a fountain drink for $2 at Jackson's. $2 at Jackson's, a hot dog and a fountain drink. You're using your Let's Go Rewards app. You can get that at Jackson's. $2 hot dog and fountain drink when the Broncos score 70. And don't forget, you can get 99-cent coffee anytime, anywhere, using that Let's Go Rewards app from our friends at Jackson's. We are live here on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. You see the Broncos warming up on the court behind us. My name is BJ Rains. We appreciate you guys for checking us out as the Broncos. There's RJ Keene in the corner getting ready for some shots. We'll talk a little more about his performance in recent past. We want your score predictions, your thoughts, how you're feeling about this one. Again, you're getting a exclusive live look of pregame warm-ups here. You can't get them anywhere else than Bronco Nation News. So we appreciate you making this part of your game day routine with us here on Bronco Nation News on YouTube, Facebook, and X. 93.1 FM is the 95.3 is the FM for KTIK. 93.1 is the KBOI FM, so I apologize for mixing that up. But where are you watching from? We'll give some shout-outs. We're going to have our man Nathan Carroll join us in a little bit as well. As what happens if Deggy gets the record tonight and drops 58? He'd be the lead story on SportsCenter, and Boise State would win. I can promise you that they would win on that. Roy's fired up. Let's go Bronco Nation. Sam says, got to win tonight. Saturday's game made me very nervous. Let's see what else we got here. Melinda sending all the vibes for a great win tonight. We got the Javens family in the chat. Let's see here. Crash says, all the makings of a potential trap game, but I think Saturday was enough of a wake-up call. Yeah, I could see, this would typically be a game that you'd be a little nervous about. That certainly could be the case at times, but really for Boise State, I don't think that is going to be the case anymore after what we saw the other day in Fresno. I think they got their one scare out of the way. Again, I don't think they played terrible at Fresno. Fresno hit some crazy tough shots, and they just didn't make some wide open shots. So I don't think they played terrible in that game, but we'll see what happens tonight. Boise State has had some success here recently at Air Force. Last 3 games inside Clune Arena, Boise State won 79-48 last year, 59-52 in 2023, and 85-59 in 2022. So the last 3 years, a 31-point win, a 7-point win, and a 26-point win. So they're averaging almost 20 points wins the last 3 years here against Air Force. You might remember 2020, Leon Rice got the early exit, the heave-ho from Tony Padilla and Rick Randall, the officials. Leon Rice got ejected from the game. His first and only career ejection came here at Clune Arena back in 2020. That was also Boise State's last loss here at Clune Arena in 2020. They lost 85-78. And in that game, Leon Rice didn't like the foul disparity. It was 11-2 when he got booted. It had to be held back by Alex Hobbs and some teammates. And the final free throw count was 30-13. Air Force took 30 free throw attempts. Boise State only got 13. And Boise State lost that game. That was their last loss here at Clune Arena. Spencer Buchanan, I believe that's Uncle Buchanan, saying, need a big blowout win tonight. And you really do, Spencer. You really could use a nice, easy, big win tonight for a lot of reasons. But most importantly, for that net ranking and for those KenPom analytics, all those resume analytics really do matter right now. Every point you win by matters. And so the ultimate goal, yes, just win the game, avoid what would be a disastrous quad 4 loss. But if you can find a way, the real number is 15. You got to try to win this game by at least 15, which is easier said than done in this building against this team. But if you can win this game by 15 plus, that would be a massive, massive performance for Boise State, because you need to hold serve. And if you can win by 20 plus, really get the numbers to go in your favor in terms of the KenPom and some of those kind of things, would certainly be big tonight. A lot of bubble games going on around the country. When Nathan Carroll joins us here shortly, we will show and talk about some of those bubble games. But this is a big night for Boise State to win. Their last chance, theoretically, to win big and have a chance to really make some hay here and help strengthen their NCAA tournament resume. Melinda's going with 75-60. Bob's got 76-60. Chase Love, Brennan Ramirez, first career points tonight. That would be something. That means that'd be a good problem if Boise State is up, if Brennan Ramirez is getting his first points tonight. Chad's got 79-58. Don's going 63-50. 73-55 is the prediction for Bronco 130. Kurt's got 75-61. Don is streaming from Oakland with his wife. Don, appreciate the voicemail the other day as well. Sorry we haven't had a chance to play it yet, but appreciate you, Don, for the voicemail. And thanks for watching from Oakland. Kurt, appreciate you as well. Nate Gutierrez has Boise winning flashy fashion, 81-59. Dwayne watching in Knoxville, Tennessee. How you doing, Dwayne? Appreciate you. So we have California and Tennessee checking in. Bob's going 24 tonight for Tyson Degenhart. I did see someone post that his over-under in Las Vegas, 17.5 tonight for Tyson Degenhart's over-under, 17.5. Roy's got 71-55. Yuma, Arizona, where it's 73 degrees right now. No, it's snowing and cold outside here. Mesa, Arizona. So multiple folks in Arizona watching. Appreciate you guys for chiming in. We've now got California, Tennessee, Arizona chiming in. Omar going for 15 plus tonight. Wouldn't that be something? Appreciate Nadine. Thank you for representing. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to our subscribers for paying for my travel and making it possible to be here. So this is these trips aren't free. So all of you that are paying subscribers, $50 a year using that promo code BNN50 deal, and all of our advertisers that we tell you about throughout the show, you guys make this possible. So appreciate all of you and hope the coverage evens out, makes up for your investment and is worth your investment. Timmy says, looks empty in there. Will there be a crowd? I mean, here's the live look. The student manager is getting some shots up while the team is back in the locker room for the next couple of minutes, but we're still 31 minutes till tip-off. But, yeah, you're not going to have much of a crowd here tonight. It'll maybe be 1,000, maybe 1,000 tonight. I mean, I will just say, I mean, it is not easy to get on the base. You got to fill out a form. I got denied access to the base earlier today trying to come over for Boise State shoot-around. Couldn't even talk my way in like usual. Had to fill out a form and then got approved at the last minute. So you have to fill out a form. They don't have just regular visitors anymore allowed on the base. So it's very tough to get over here, and it's not easy. And that's part of the reason the crowds haven't been as big. The weather's not great. And it's just not, I mean, Colorado Springs, downtown Colorado Springs is like 20, 25, 30 minutes away. It's not close. So they just have a really tough time getting the crowd in here for various reasons. And not much of a crowd here tonight, but we'll see moving forward here if they're able to. This game is streaming on the Mountain West Network. by the way, if you're looking for that, it's the Mountain West Network, themw.com is the website. You can also listen to Abe and Bob over on the radio side. Again, they will be on 93.1 FM tonight. So Bob and Abe, 93.1. I recommend listening to Bob and Abe, 93.1 FM as part of Learfield and the Bronco Radio Network, and then turning down the sound while you watch the video stream on the Mountain West Network. Bob Peterson brings up Alvaro Cardenas. He says he's going over 10 assists. Now, the last time these two teams played, Alvaro Cardenas had 12 assists against Air Force. So 10 assists, you're not really going out on a limb there, Bob. But I will say that we're talking about the records for Tyson Degenhart. Alvaro Cardenas needs 1 assist to get to 200 for the season. He's at 199 assists. If Alvaro Cardenas gets 1 more assist, he'll become just the 9th player in Mountain West history with 200 assists in a single season. So that first assist, hopefully on Boise State's first possession, that'll be the 200th assist of the season for Alvaro Cardenas. So keep that in mind. Rick Ross tossed out Leon close. Rick Randall tossed out. He actually gave him the first technical. Tony Padilla came in and sniped him from behind with the second one, and he got the heave-ho. And again, the only ejection in 35 years of coaching for Leon Rice came here at Clune Arena. So keep your comments coming. Keep your score predictions, your shout-outs. We're having fun in the chat. We got good viewership here. People are bought into basketball, so we appreciate all you for checking us out. And we're going to get to our man Nathan Carroll here in a minute, but I want to tell you about a couple more great sponsors. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, whether it's a sauna, a spa, a pool table, and stuff for the game room, they got you covered. View their all their options and at thespateam.com or visit one of their 4 locations today. Hey, the Blue and Orange Store, they got Boise State gear. They got jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, sweatshirts, all kinds of trinkets and things, and the best hat selection in town. I know there's a lot of spots with Boise State gear around town, but if you want the best selection at the best prices, hit up the Blue and Orange Store. You can order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com or just go into the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor next to the Pro Image. The Blue and Orange Store. Big sponsors here at Bronco Nation News. Hey, Lithia Ford of Boise. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show here at Clune Arena. We appreciate Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake, and company over at Lithia Ford of Boise. They got to get rid of those 2024 models, so if you're looking for some great deals right now, head on into Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out their full inventory and their specials at lithiafordboise.com, and they're stepping up the NIL game. They got some great things going on right now with the players and the student athletes, including 3 women's athletes at Boise State. They're providing vehicles for some of the coaches, some of the administrative staff. So, hey, you want to return the favor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. And after the game, we'll pick our Matt Bauscher Real Estate Player of the Game. BauscherRealEstate.com, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, and the Raines family found out firsthand just why that is the case. Every time you buy or sell a home with Matt, you get to meet everybody in the picture there. Seth Robinson, former player in the back. It's just the service is unmatched at Bauscher Real Estate, and they just go above and beyond. He helped me get the best value for my house when we were selling it and got us the best deal and credits and things when we were buying a house. So I know everybody's got 5 friends that are realtors in town, but I highly recommend Matt Bauscher Real Estate. Next time you're looking to buy or sell a home, BauscherRealEstate.com, and we will pick that Bauscher Real Estate Player of the Game coming up on the postgame show. The Jackson's postgame show will start literally 30 seconds after the game ends. So as soon as that game ends on the Mountain West Network, make sure you flip over because they're going to be in a hurry to get to the airport and beat the weather and fly back to Boise tonight. So we will have Leon Rice and players live. The only place you can watch live video post-game interviews of this Leon Rice and company will be on the BNN post-game show, the Jackson's post-game show, coming up right after this game ends. And so wherever you're watching from now, just switch back over to our YouTube channel when the game ends, and we'll have all of our post-game coverage there. All right, we bring in our man Nathan Carroll. Nathan, appreciate you for jumping on as always here, and we're showing a live look at Clune Arena here. Not much of a crowd chiming in. I hope folks follow Nathan on Twitter. He does a tremendous job and doing a great job on Bronco Nation News with some analysis and helping us out and stuff. And we're getting great feedback, so we appreciate you, Nathan, as you're waiting for a newborn to be born here anytime. So we appreciate you for being on call and making it work. But intriguing game tonight. Boise State favored by 15. You'd love to win by 20+, but the ultimate goal, obviously, is just to leave here with a W tonight.
Yeah, no, I tweeted it out earlier today. Job number 1, get the win. Job number 2, win by margin, help out the metrics a little bit. But, we saw it against Fresno State. Sometimes these games on the road, they can be tough, whether it's you're not used to the ball, you're not used to a quiet arena, just different sight lines. There's a whole bunch of stuff that can go into it. But, able to get a win against Fresno. Same thing tonight. Obviously, you hope Boise wins by 20, 30, 40, pushes some of those metrics a little bit. But if they win by 5, great. A win's a win. You keep yourself in position to get a spot in the dance.
Cody's wanting to ask about the at-large. Let's talk about the bubbles because there's a lot of big bubble games tonight. Maybe you can run through some of those big ones and any scores that are already going on and who folks should be rooting for. But Cody's asking if they lose to Colorado State on Friday, do they need 1 or 2 wins to get back into the field of 68? Do you see any kind of scenario if they lose to Colorado State that they could get into the tournament here?
It could happen. But I think you need to at least get to the finals to put
Boise State back on the floor here, by the way, for warm-up. Sorry to cut you off there, Nathan.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think probably need to get to the finals to have any chance to put yourself in a position for an at-large. And realistically, you probably just need to win the Mountain West tournament. The committee the last 2 years has underseeded the Mountain West relative to consensus. So if Boise State picks up a loss, you're 14-6 at that point in a little bit of a weaker Mountain West. I think Boise State needs to win these next 2, and then you put yourself in position to be on the bubble. Would probably even want to grab a win in Vegas to feel comfortable. And even feeling comfortable is, potentially playing in Dayton. There's no locks for this team. Not going to be in a position where they're getting an 8 seed or a 9 seed. Best case scenario outside of winning the Mountain West tournament at this point is go 2-0. Probably go to Vegas, maybe be the first team to avoid Vegas. But yeah, so bubble picture wise, you got to win out. I mean, it's playoff mode right now. If you lose tonight, obviously those at-large hopes are dead. If you lose to CSU, still not particularly fond of their chances to grab an at-large bid.
Any key games tonight you want to point out that really would help Boise State that fans should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the current scores as we've got them going right now, but there's a few games going on that Boise State fans should be dialed into. I know one of them, a fan on Twitter, asked about like Georgia, South Carolina. Georgia's a bubble team, so Boise State, you're cheering against Georgia at this juncture, trying to potentially knock them off the bubble. Texas and Mississippi State's on tonight. If Texas loses tonight, I think there's a good chance that Texas is knocked out of the bubble picture altogether. That game, about 15 minutes in, Mississippi State with a 3-point lead. Going down through the list here.
West Virginia 5-12, by the way, in the SEC if Texas loses this game. I know they're on the road. They're underdogs against Mississippi State. This wouldn't be a bad loss, but Texas would drop to 16-14 and 5-12 in the SEC. I know the SEC is very good this year, but what are Oklahoma at 4-12? Texas 5-12. Like, what are we doing here?
That's how weak the bubble is, and that really is just the best answer. Part of the reason the bubble is so weak is be on Twitter, talk to some of these bracketologists. 1 through 8 is about as strong as it's ever been. Right? We're talking about a team like Utah State, like New Mexico. These are going to be 9 seeds, whereas I think in a lot of tournaments you're looking at those being 6, 7, maybe even a 5 seed. The top 30 or so teams in college basketball this year have been absolutely dominant, which has meant that for the bubble, for the teams after, 30 or 35, they're not getting big wins. They're not picking up marquee wins against Dukes or, New Mexico's or whoever it may be. So we've got a really weak bubble this year, and that opens the door for a team like Oklahoma, who, as you said, 4-12 in SEC play. I think they have 1 road win all season long. They're still on the bubble because, the committee is just going to be desperate looking for teams who I won't even say played their way in, just played their way out less than other teams. And that, that's why Boise State's still in the picture. If we're being honest, 15-5 in this Mountain West with non-con losses to Boston College and to Washington State. Most years, this is an NIT team without a doubt. It's a really weak bubble this year. So that puts Boise State in a position. And right now, based on the brackets that are out there, they're pretty much 50-50 in versus out. If they are in, it's going to be, like I said, more than likely in Dayton. And if they're out, they're probably going to be one of the first 5 or 6 teams out. So Just continue to stack wins. Boise State's going to have a chance, but just some other bubble games for fans to look out for. I've got my list pulled up here now. Indiana plays at Oregon. You want to be rooting for Oregon in that one. Arkansas plays at Vanderbilt. Arkansas 6-10 in the SEC. They're a very bubbly team that is right there in that same strain as Boise State is being.
I saw Georgia got a win over South Carolina already.
Yeah, it looks like Georgia finished off South Carolina. Georgia's probably a lock at this point. Picking up a win against Florida, I think 2 weeks ago now, is the type of win that most bubble teams don't have. Florida's probably going to be a 1 or a high 2 seed. So Georgia winning tonight probably puts them at lock status. But it was a game that would have been nice for Boise State if South Carolina wins. The biggest ones tonight, in my opinion, are going to be Arkansas playing Vanderbilt. Arkansas is right there, right in line with Boise State. So you want Arkansas to lose that one to Vandy. Nebraska, Ohio State's a big one. Both of those are bubble teams, so no real rooting interest either way. Indiana, if they pick up a win against Oregon, they might go to lock status. West Virginia, if they lose to Utah, they're going to be right there on the bubble. And then one kind of separate from the bubble is San Diego State and UNLV tonight. If San Diego State loses that game, Boise State puts themselves in a position where if they go 2-0, I believe they'll lock up the 2 seed in the Mountain West. Whereas if San Diego State wins that game, Boise State's probably going to be looking at a 4 or 5 seed in the Mountain West tournament. And I know I've heard you and a few guys talking about that. If you get the 4-5 and potentially get Colorado State, that's not the worst thing in the world. And you're right in terms of Boise State's likelihood to win, right? Of the top 5 teams, I think you probably most want Colorado State. The downside of getting Colorado State in the first round is that's the one team right now that's not going to be a quad 1 game for Boise State. So if you go to Vegas, you lose that game in the first round of Colorado State, that's now a quad 2 loss instead of a quad 1 loss. Just something to think about, that if Boise's on the bubble, the difference between a Q1 and a Q2 loss there could end up making a bit of a difference. So, just like I said, something to be mindful of. But that's the other big game I'm going to be watching tonight is seeing if UNLV can grab a win over SDSU.
Yeah, we got 4 Mountain West games tonight, I believe, and or maybe 5. There's a lot of Mountain West games tonight or in the next couple of days. And you're right, that is the big one. I know UNLV beat them at San Diego State, but I still have a hard time believing without. And I know UNLV's playing good with Thomas gone, but I just have a hard time believing UNLV is going to beat San Diego State tonight. But if they do, you're right. All of a sudden, Boise State could be the 2 seed. But then you talk about, again, not a quad 1 game. Then you're having to play a UNLV or a Colorado State in the first game. So, UNLV or a Nevada in the first game, which wouldn't be as easy as well. Let's see what else we got here. Need more points in the paint tonight. Chase has 88 to 56. Stanley should have a big game, Kurt Fuller says. All right. Let's see. Nathan, any other thoughts? I think John Mallory's going to actually pop on in a minute here as well. So what are your what do you make of this Air Force team and just the matchup tonight and where Boise State should try to take advantage here?
Yeah, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. Air Force isn't a very good basketball team. They've won 4 games all year. 2 of those are against teams in the 300s in Ken Palm. They've been frisky at times. They can be a pretty decent team shooting from 3. They take a lot of threes, which is fairly significant in terms of volume of threes. I think they're 27th in the entire nation in terms of how many they take. That's number 1 in the Mountain West. So they're going to take a lot of threes, and if they get hot from 3, they can make it semi-competitive. But defensively, just not a very good team. Don't have very much foot speed. Don't have a lot of length. So that's an area where Boise State needs to be able to score at will tonight. That's really what I'm looking for. It's a night that I would expect and hope Tyson to have 25 plus. He should really be able to get almost whatever he wants tonight. So that's one thing I'm looking at tonight is Air Force. They might get hot, might hit some threes, but even if they get hot, you should still be able to cruise to a double-digit win off the back of your offense. I saw one prediction that was in the 80s. I think Boise State should be scoring about in the 80s tonight.
Well, we appreciate it, Nathan. I want to discuss R.J. Keene and his defense. Well, let's do that Friday in person before the Colorado State game, and we can dive into that a little more. But some crazy numbers. R.J. Keene, the best player in the history of college basketball that scored 1.5 points per game or less. Pretty crazy, man. But we can dive into that on Friday. But that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. He's a unique player, as the UNR bench was happy to tell him. He's Draymond Green. They meant it as a slight, but I mean it in the most complimentary way. He's a very unique, very fun player, and excited to break that down a little more on Friday.
All right, Nathan, appreciate you, man. I'm sure you'll have a basketball story getting ready for Friday the next day or two. But thanks for jumping on, man, as always, and we appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, take care.
There he is, Nathan Carroll. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Check them out at shopridleys.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Transportation Compliance Service. If you need a job, get into the trucking industry. Transportation Compliance Service can help you every step of the way with the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out online, transcomservice.com. Lean Feast Meridian. Lean Feast, check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy meal options. 10,000 plus combinations, leanfeastmeridian.com. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, the speakpipe.com/BNN link. You can leave us a voicemail after the game in the next couple of days. It's courtesy of Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. Covering our community for more than 2 decades, Signature Roofing is your roofing answer, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection. They got you covered at mysignatureroofing.com. We give you a live look here at Clune Arena. We're about 14 minutes till tip-off. Nice enough to join us for a couple minutes here on the pregame show is host of Prater in the Ball Game, John Mallory, Johnny Ball Game. And Johnny, you're in your home studio office there back in Boise. We appreciate you for jumping on. And I guess they're all big at this point. I mean, you're heavy favorites tonight, but obviously Boise State can't afford that quad 4 loss. How you doing, sir? And just your thoughts on the game tonight, man.
I felt that the Fresno State game was my prediction, 84-59, and they were a couple of bad situations away from dropping that. I'm kind of worried maybe this is just one of those teams that, for whatever reason, doesn't blow people out. But other than that, I mean, I heard you and Nathan talking about it. I mean, all the metrics will say this should be about a 15-plus point win tonight. Handle your business. My side story is I just want to see Tyson drop more than 20. I want a smidge of that story on Friday night where he could break that record, BJ. And tonight, though, dot your I's, right? Cross your T's. Give BJ Raines the glorious post-game interview and fly on back to Boise and get ready for one heck of a Friday night.
They're getting ready for their senior night festivities here. They do that, looks like a little early, maybe getting ready to honor the seniors here with their families as we get set about 12 minutes till tip-off. But, Johnny, Clune Arena, I'm not sure if you've called the game here or not in all your travels, but just a unique arena. You can see here we're 12 minutes from tip-off, and there might be 250 people here. I mean, you can see the crowd behind me. I don't say that to joke or be facetious, but there's just not a ton of fans here tonight. You mentioned the scare against Fresno, but you know this arena is a whole different challenge here. The elevation, just your take on Clune Arena here, and the elements, I guess, in terms of the what else Boise State's dealing with tonight.
Well, I think people would agree with this, that this team doesn't do a great job of creating its own energy, right? I mean, the San Jose State game was a struggle in there. Fresno struggle there. I mean, the Boston College game was in a junior college that was also empty. I mean, it feels like when this team has had to bring its own energy, and maybe that's way more difficult than we give it credit, or say, oh, just bring your own energy. It's fine. Easier said than done, I guess. We'll see if they can do that tonight, BJ, because that atmosphere, that's looking for me, about 2008 Western Athletic Conference women's basketball in Clune Arena right there. We played in front of a lot of those crowds in the women's game back then, and you definitely.
What do you make of this place, man? The hockey arena on one side, you go over here to the basketball arena, kind of a unique setup.
Badass, man. Air Force has a boxing team. I mean, they have 55 NCAA sanctioned sports or whatever it is. And what a cool ice arena, cadet ice arena, BJ. You're a big hockey guy. So yeah. Air Force plays, what do they play? Like DU? Trying to think of other collegiate hockey teams somewhat in that region. So they go hockey at Air Force, huh? That's bitching.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've got the cadet field house here. They also have the what do you call it? The indoor track and field arena over here. I mean, it's a pretty crazy setup. And then Johnny, of course, I got to put this on the screen here. Everybody talks about Wyoming, being 7,220 feet. Here's the warning sign they have outside the Boise State locker room. Lack of oxygen, altitude sickness occurring when the body is deprived at high altitude of oxygen. You could seek medical attention immediately if you have a headache, fatigue, shortness of breath, a feeling of euphoria and nausea. Severe cases can result in loss of consciousness, seizures, coma, and even death with a lack of oxygen here. And you see they do say 7,081 feet above sea level. People don't really realize that. It's only about 160 feet less than Wyoming's is. Once you get up to the top of the academy here where Clune Arena is, it's only 160 feet or so short of Wyoming. It's number 2 in America in terms of the elevation. And I can tell you, I went on the treadmill at the gym today, and it is certainly you can certainly feel the elevation up here, Johnny.
No, that's just you're fat, but I love you anyway. BJ, I mean, that's the Air Force Academy. I appreciate that. They care about civilians, and they're going to give them a warning. Hey, look out here. We care about you, and we want to make sure you realize this environment. Kind of tongue-in-cheek there, but, man, yeah, good for them, man. That's kind of cool that Air Force would do something like that, and kind of have fun with the visiting team. Pretty good stuff. And the altitude, you're right. I mean, I'm just kidding about the treadmill thing, BJ. You work out a hell of a lot more than I do, but you can absolutely tell. I've been in that elevation several times. I went to a Denver Bronco football game against the Seahawks and was sitting way up high, and I was gasping for air because of the altitude even higher in that stadium, and I was just a fan. And I remember thinking, God, I can't imagine having to play in some of this stuff. You really do have to manage how you breathe and stuff. And I didn't have a clue on that, but that can't be an excuse. They've all been here before. They play in high altitude all the time. Boise is high altitude itself. So, yeah, here we go. We're at the Mountain West Conference, BJ. Just in the Mountain West Conference, 7 out of the 11 teams have, the top 10 in elevation or something. It's a very high-level league in that sense.
Kurt's saying, don't bring the cat on. That was bad luck against Fresno. So keep the cat out of here. They're wondering if you can even get on a military base. Bronco 130 is asking.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, my brother was in the Navy.
Gerald's saying Degenhart 24 points tonight. That's what Gerald's got. He needs 58, Johnny. If he could get 30 tonight, he'd have it. He would need 28 on senior night. So you probably need somewhere 27 or more to have any shot going into senior night, right?
It's 58, huh?
58.
Yeah, dang, man.
I mean, he has a 30-point game this year at home. So if you can get anywhere in the 27 or plus range tonight, which is asking for a lot, he would go into senior night with at least a shot on Friday.
I'd sign off right now on 23, 24 points. Yeah, because then you at least have that shot on Friday. If you get anywhere close to 30, man, I mean, talk about adding more to a crock pot that already seems that it will taste fabulous, right, on Friday night. With everything that's coming with that, Tyson Degenhart has over 40 friends and family members coming to this game, BJ. And you throw in the fact that the scoring title might be broke as well. That's going to be such a scene. I think it's sold out already. So You just got to, handle it today. Beat the hell out of the Air Force Academy, get back and get ready for Friday, which will be, BJ, probably an all-time atmosphere in that building, at least for you and I, who've been going there 10-plus years. The old school folks might be able to come up with some others, but that will be emotional. That'll be an all-timer, and it's a game they have to win, too.
You see the seniors here at Air Force getting honored at midcourt as we get closer to tip-off here for Boise State and Air Force, and Gerald's got 86, 670. And Johnny, this Air Force program, man, they got all the seniors right here, but they have no juniors because they've all transferred out in the left. So you're talking about, as of now, they will not have a senior night next year because they can't bring anybody in from the transfer portal. They can't have NIL. Joe Scott, 4-24. They're in a really tough spot here. Well, what do you make of the Air Force program as you see this legendary group of seniors? There's some guys here that have done a lot of good things for Air Force and are going to go on to do even better things for our country, getting honored here at midcourt.
Really sad because I do believe the future of college athletics, and I say this coming off a historic football season for the service academies. But for every bullet point you just fabulously illustrated, BJ, I don't see how the academies can keep up. Now, you can get the best of the best and the best and the brightest, and that's what they get. How many of them can you get to want to do this? Think about this. Like, 3-4 years ago, Paul Skeens was on the Air Force Academy getting up in the morning, marching and all that stuff. It's crazy, and he obviously didn't stay, but I think Air Force is in a really tough spot, and that's weird. I heard you talk about that with Jay today, that they don't have any seniors next year. I don't know the last time I've ever seen or heard anything like that. Let's hope that the service academies can find a way to stay relevant on the field, on the court, and still be decent. I don't remember the last time Air Force was decent at basketball, so no harm, no foul. But Air Force football getting into trouble, if that does happen, that would suck, man. So let's hope that the academies can find a way to still get good coaches and good players up there and play good football and try to compete in basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they've had their leading scorer transfer out 2 straight years. One went to Clemson, one went to Cal. As you see Boise State taking the floor here. Johnny, any final thoughts? Just what do you make, in terms of this game, and if there's any concern at all for Boise State? Who's your pick to click tonight? We see Omar Stanley going in for a layup there. This might be an Omar Stanley game, maybe on the interior. But what are your thoughts on this one here tonight?
Andrew Meadow. Does he make this 3 in a row where he's a legitimate number 2 scorer? And I'm talking taking the ball to the rack and hitting threes. That's when guys are tough to defend, because if they lay off, you're going to bust a 3. If they get close, you can take them to the rack. So let's see Meadow can get his game. They're going to need another scorer moving forward. Peanut as well. Let's see if he gets going. I say this every day, every game, but it'd be nice for Omar to be magnificent. But, we say that every day. BJ, obviously get out of here with a win and hopefully win by 15 plus.
All right, Johnny, hold on a second here. I screwed up the camera here. All right, what did I do wrong here? All right.
BJ, BNN.
There we are.
Production, BNN.
Yeah, BNN here on the scene, Johnny. Hey, Johnny, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the game, and we'll be listening 3 to 6 Idaho Sports Talk tomorrow, man.
Love you, BJ. Appreciate you guys.
There he is, John Mallory. Appreciate him for jumping on, trying to get our extra camera going here. There it is. We'll bring this back on for the final minute or two as we get set for tip-off tonight. Boise State and Air Force getting set to go here at Clune Arena. You see only 3 minutes on the clock. 55-minute pregame show. You're watching live and for free on social media channels here at Bronco Nation News. So return the favor, folks. Subscribe if you can. BNN 50 deal. Just $50 for a full year. You can subscribe. We'd love to have you. Get a daily email, some other great content. We'd love to have you. BroncoNationNews.com. Use that BNN 50 deal promo code to get a discount of $20 off your first year. But at a minimum, make sure you're subscribing to us on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, and make sure you're telling your friends, and make sure you support these great sponsors that made this show free of charge. You're watching the live warm-ups of your Broncos, just 3 minutes till tip-off here on Bronco Nation News. Can't do that anywhere else, and that's thanks to our great sponsors that make this show possible. Look at the referees. They kind of walk by. We have got Nate Harris. Let me see what else we got here in terms of our officials. I tweeted it out. Nate Harris in the house. Way underranked at KenPom, number 64. We got to get Nate Harris ranked higher here, but Nate Harris is number 64 at KenPom. Steve McJunkin, number 94 at KenPom. And Crystal Hogan is number 210 at KenPom. Crystal Hogan, female referee today, was the first Division I female referee. That's kind of a cool stat there. The first female Division I referee back in, I believe, 2018, 2019. was her debut season. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching the game. Going to be a fun one. Boise State and Air Force coming up on the Mountain West Network here shortly. And as we said, the Jackson's postgame show comes up right when this game ends. This game ends, you flip back over to BNN. You see Leon Rice live. You see some players live here. The only way to watch live video interviews with Coach Rice and players after this one is right here on Bronco Nation News on the Jackson's postgame show. So go subscribe. You got 5 minutes till game time. Go sign up for BNN. $50. You get a full year. We'd love to have you. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, X. Support the sponsors, folks. And go get a couple Horseshoe Golden Ales and enjoy this one. Boise State, big favorites. Can they take care of business? Can they win big? Can they help the computer metrics out? Or are they going to have to be in store for another close one, another scare after the close one over there in Fresno the other night? Should be fun. Looking forward to it. Proud to be on the scene here at Clune Arena at the Air Force Academy to provide coverage for you guys. And again, join us right when this game ends. Right when this game ends on YouTube for the Jackson's postgame show. Enjoy the game, everybody. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you afterwards. Bronco Nation News Live. The Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, courtesy of our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. My name is BJ Rains. We'll talk to you guys after the game. Enjoy it. Good luck to the Broncos. This has been the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.